IVM.
Did you know this IPL season you can stand a chance to win 100% cash back on your credit card bills? It is very simple. Pay your credit card bill on Cred during power play, and if you win, your name and photo gets projected in the stadium, which you can also catch on your TV screen. So download Cred. Hello and welcome to the Habit Coach podcast. I am Ashton Doctor, your habit coach. And today we continue with the podcast with Arjun and Somesh, who run the Fighting Goat podcast, or like they say, the Fighting Goat. And if you haven't heard the first part, please go make sure you hear that first so you know where this one's going to continue from. We're going to be talking about fighting and fitness and how fitness in the whole fighting world or the combat sports world is so different from any of the other fitness categories that exist. So make sure you listen to the first episode before you come and listen to this one so you have a little bit of continuation. Let's jump into the episode.
Motivation is, I think, is something that is fleeting. Because I'm somebody who has yo-yoed in the past, in the last 5 years, I would say, because of injury. Like I went crazy. I worked out. I dropped 35 kilos.
Wow.
35 kilos. Really? I lost 35 kilos. I went from a waist 40 to a waist 33, 34.
Oh, wow.
And I had literally I was in the best shape of my life.
Man, that girl must have been hot.
Yeah, she was. But the thing is that what happened afterwards was I got injured. And your knees go and your back goes. And you're like, I'll take a 2-week break. And then I was gone out of the thing for 3 years.
But you know what? The thing about injuries now is that, in fact, seen this in India, that there is no moderation. When people do something, it is on 120% gas. They don't say, listen, that I need to take that 1 day off. I need to recuperate. I need to take my Sundays off, Thursdays off. They're like, no, 7 days a week. I'll lose 30 kgs and then I'll bust my knees. I'll bust my shoulders. I'll bust my elbows. And for 2 years, I'll be out. So there's, see, fitness is a lifestyle. It's not, there's no goal to it. Yeah. You cannot say, I want to lose weight for my wedding, look great in those, photos. And on my first anniversary, I've become a bhais again. It has to be a lifestyle. It needs to be consistent. It's like going for a bath. You don't use, all the body wash in one day and say, listen, I need to be very clean, and for the next 2 years, I'm not going to be having a bath.
No, but but the thing is, as I grew older, but when I started doing it again, like 2-3 years back, and I started working, I was far more methodical then.
Which girl was it this time?
No, there was no girl. Thank you. No, but I was far more methodical because I was doing it 3 days a week only, and I knew I had to change the way I eat and the way I live and everything.
Lifestyle changes, basically.
Major lifestyle changes, and it is. I won't want to blame something, but when the lockdown hit, work stopped, and it's just everything went for a toss.
It's true.
Those 6 months in Bombay when gyms were shut, everything. I tried working out at home, but I was so like, I'm bored. I live alone, so I'm like there's no motivation. Yeah. There's no, there's nothing to do. So you people put on weight. Some people lost a lot of weight. Some people put on weight. So I think motivation is, like Somesh said, it's not as much motivation as it has to become a consistent habit. That's it. It just is. It has to be hardwired into it. Like 30 minutes, 4 times a week.
Yes. Correct. I think that that hits the nail on the spot.
I mean, with the diet,
it should almost be like you're having your bath and stuff like that, right? It should be an aspect of your life.
Absolutely.
It's I think what a lot of people like. See, I've never had a problem with the exercise. You said once I reach the gym, I'm there. I'm mentally there. I'm physically there. I'm everything. There is a lot of focus. India is very, if you look at the people, they're all like, tole, shole, body, shoddy. But nobody talks about the grueling diet.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about how much you have to actually eat. Nobody is I don't want to mock any dietitians or mock any trainers here, but not once. Like I will say, maybe out of 50 trainers that I've met, maybe 3 of them told me, what do you eat? What do you ask me? What do you eat?
Yeah.
So my other trainer told me, tu daru pi koi tension nahi. And I'm like, but he's like, you come 7 days. You come 7 days and then you do what you want. I said, dude, that worked when I was 21.
Yeah.
Where I could slam beers over a weekend and then be fine on Monday.
Right. See, but that also comes down to, whether people are updated on the latest, methodologies of training. Because see, there's no rocket science to this. Yeah. As you age, your body changes, the metabolism changes, all of that changes. And, if you have a good coach, he's going to look at it holistically and give you a plan. It's not ki, who's 18 years old and Arjun who's 35 years old have the same plan.
Correct.
Not happening. Not happening.
No, there's such a dramatic difference as you age, and it's crazy from the way that you process daru to the way that you actually do your fitness.
My God.
Yeah.
I mean, back in my 20s, I could have gone to the gym after a bender. I could have gone to bed at 5 a.m. and then still hit the gym at 11 a.m. after a quick snack.
Yes.
Now I need 3 days off. I need 3 days after the day I'm going out. Because it's just your body, I can't take it. I mean, Ashwin looks like he's 21, so there's no problem for him. But for the rest of us, it's not easy.
That's all.
The last time Somesh and I got together for a couple of beers was after our show a couple of weeks back.
You mean
and we didn't talk to each other.
You mean yesterday?
All of us were a bit like, we were just like, we need a day. Relax. And don't talk to me about exercise. And don't talk to me about healthy food today because I'm not going to have boiled vegetables and grilled breast after I've had a night of drinking. The next morning, I need something bad.
3 days recovery minimum. I used to actually love that next day push sweat in the gym, get the daru out of your system. And nowadays, when I tried, I was like, this is not happening. I don't even want to put on my gym clothes. Okay?
I can't even get
up. In fact, a Vishesh Tipni says that it is easier to just go in the sauna and let everything sweat out. You'll actually feel better.
Oh, wow. That's
you'll actually feel better.
Idea,
a lot of these MMA guys, after they've had a very bad Saturday night, Sunday is sauna day. Where you go in the sauna, just get all the toxins out.
You're right. I'm going to try this.
Take a shower and go in the pool. You may just leisure swim. I'm not saying do those crazy laps. Just leisure swim, but that's going to be really beneficial, and not for just the three of us, but for all the people listening out there.
Yeah,
I think that's a good idea. I think if you're going to do a bender, or if you're going to go out for a night of drinking, is don't make the mistake. What 90% of all of us do is eat while we're drinking. We eat before. Make sure body is well hydrated. Constantly drink a lot of water. Yeah, that's one thing. I'm 37 now, and if I don't drink at least 2 bottles of water in the middle while throughout the evening, it just dehydrates the life out of me. And then that inadvertently will kill my entire next 2-day workout because my muscles will be sore. I'll be tired constantly.
You tend to cramp also.
I won't have the energy. You'll cramp. Regardless of how much I've eaten, even if I've eaten well, and the coffees I drink or whatever, or the protein powders I take, that makes no difference if I've not hydrated well.
Very true. Very true.
People are actually wondering why we're talking about daru and we're talking about fitness and stuff like that. It's because actually makes such a big difference across. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And there are days where you'll have crazy party nights because that is part of it.
Yeah,
but it is a choice that you're making, knowing that the next 2-3 days will be an issue. So you have to take that into account as well. I think that is the important thing.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah,
we're the same age, wow. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, really? We all are 37?
They're all 37.
Oh, wow.
That's
super. Awesome.
Yeah. Chalo. Now there's more than enough reason to party together. Chalo. No, and then we'll plan a workout also.
आओ कभी डॉक्टर के हवेली पे.
आज डॉक्टर के हवेली पे जाएंगे हम. आज की शाम डॉक्टर के नाम. No, but it's so funny. It's funny that I remember my recent trainer, which I've gotten. I got reintroduced to him after I thought he was gone to Gaon or something. And then he's just after 7 years, bang, he's back on the scene. And he's looking at me saying, what the hell happened to you? I can't recognize you. And basically made me feel very bad. And which is a great way to start motivating anybody, make them feel horrible about themselves. And so he did that. But I know him. He's a old school guy. Yeah. And he's saying that he likes stop this, stop that, stop this, stop that, stop this, stop that. But then he was realistic. It's like, you tell me the day you want to go out. Firstly, drop it down to that once a week. And the day you want to go out, you tell me the day you want to go out, because then you have to center your food one day prior and one day after around it.
Yes.
You have to center the food, the diet. And that is what I'm now really lucky that I've met somebody who's giving me good advice.
But, Arjun, that gets me to a very important point. Everybody wants these scientific coaches that tells you, that have 386 grams of rice on that one day only. But,
correct.
For me, at least, just like Arjun, these old school guys work, you may have your cheeseburgers and all of that. But man, when you go on the deadlift platform, you're going to bust your ass. And somehow that works for me. That method has always worked for me. It is something which I've believed in. And honestly, I don't really believe in perfection. Nobody is going to be perfect every single day. You are going to cheat. You are going to have cheese, butter. You're going to have chocolates. You're going to have pastries. But, that is life. You need to take those factors into account and then plan your routine. And that I think is very important. True. If people live in denial by saying, no, I'm perfect, I only have 6.5 grams of salt a day, I think that's not a lifestyle. It's very difficult.
That's a pot of BS. I think that's a complete BS thing where somebody also says like, oh, I'm going to the gym today and then uske baad I'll have a bar of Cadbury chocolate, which I think is absolutely stupid. If you're somebody who's going to have dessert every day, or you're somebody who wants to have a drink every day, and that's part. I know guys who I know this one chap. This chap he goes to work. He has a grueling job. He works 10 hours. He's in the banking sector. He makes the time to go 3 days a week to the gym. Has a habit. He has a ritual. He'll have to have one gulab jamun at night after his dinner. He'll have 2 glasses of whiskey along with his meal, and that's his everyday routine. Every day. But the way he's designed his program now, the way his lifestyle has changed to accommodate these habits is what is truly spellbinding. Because if you look at him now, he doesn't look like a model who has has abs or is buffed like that. No, he is
not fit. Like Ashton, basically.
He's fit for a person. Not Ashton. He's 40 years old. He's fit. And he looks great. I said, do you feel great? He's like, absolutely. He said, because my diet and exercise has been tailor-made to accommodate my
that is such a valid point, because honestly, you do not need to have a 6-pack to be fit. Aesthetic body and fitness are 2 different worlds altogether. It is basically like Earth and Mars, You don't need to have that perfect, that V and 6-pack, 8-pack, 12-pack, whatever pack that you want. It doesn't work. You just need to be a fit person who can do day-to-day activities well. Like, for example, I in fact know someone who has a very strict diet for 6 days a week. And on the Sunday, that lady, so I'll even say that she's a lady, she has half kg cake.
So did you say half kilo?
Half kg chocolate cake. And I'm like,
that certainly can't be
healthy. Like, what's the point? Just eat little every day instead of overloading on one day. Just eat little every day, and that's going to work for you. Honestly, 3 years, no weight loss.
Not to mention her
she's done it for 3 years, no weight loss. And I'm like,
a dentist must be loaded.
No, can you please understand that this method is not working? Please do something else. But sometimes people are.
My mother does the same thing. She's like, I will not have something sweet Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
So I was saying that it's so interesting. We were talking about alcohol and it takes 3 days to recover. But what we don't realize is that it takes 3 days to recover from a binge meal as well.
Yes, it does.
If you smash 4 burgers and chips and milkshakes, it's going to take you at least 2 to 3 days for your body to get back into feeling light, nimble, and ready to be able to push for the next workout.
Very true.
So your cheat meals again are not 1 day affairs; they're actually 2-3 day affairs.
Yes.
True. Arjun, I went to a Parsi wedding. Okay, with this friend of mine, Dilnaz, was getting married, and she like, Anna, great food. I'm like, chalo. Okay. So I wore my loosest pair of pants, my suit pants, which were loose, which had some cushion, and I went to eat. And I ate so much of dhansak and this and that. And it's like people were looking at me like, am I getting ready for the electric chair? So it's just the plate after plate. And I love her mother also, because she's a proper Parsi auntie. You're like, eat more. You're looking so eat more. And just the food just kept coming. Yeah. And I was like, okay, maybe I'm overdoing it. The belt is getting tighter. And I'm like, these are the once in a way affairs.
But like, what challenge accepted.
Yeah, exactly. Challenge accepted. But what happened to me over the course of the week was horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. I felt sick for the next, not because of the food was amazing. It's just the quantity and then the richness. If you're not used to that, it's just, it's also funny. It's so funny because the North Indians have a rich diet in general because their aloo parathas and their meats and their butters and their ghees are everyday staple. But if you and I go and eat that kind of food, we will fall a little sick and we will feel a little sick for the next 2 days.
Right. And in fact, I have noticed, not to actually pinpoint, but I've only seen it in India where if you meet some auntie after a month, 2 months, you'll be like, "Arey beta, itna patle ko khao."
And the worst is I fall for it also.
And
I'm like, really? Okay.
See, you know what? I, in fact, had spoken to one of these psychologists, and he had broken this aspect down for me. It's very interesting for everybody to hear this. That India is a country which always was hit by some kind of famine, some kind of attack, some this, that. It is ingrained into us कि हम लोग को खाना बाद में नहीं मिलेगा, तो आज जितना है वो खाओ.
True.
But times have changed. You see, in the Western countries, their portion sizes are this small. The guys will be big. They'll be tough, they'll be muscular, but their portion sizes are this small. They know how much to eat. They know when to eat.
In America, dude? No, come on. In America, the portion sizes are per family for one person.
No. I'm talking about the normal guys out there, like not the not the large, extra large size. Yeah, no. They like the burgers are like
God. No, Europeans,
like
man, they eat just right.
Exactly. So the Europeans know their portion sizes.
Japan, China as well.
It's only in India I've seen that they say, "Beta, aur khao, kitne patle ho gaye." So they don't understand that big is not healthy.
True.
Or big is not fit. You need to understand how much to eat and at what given point of time. And in India, honestly, I think every single person after the age of 2 till the age of 90 just has extra calories in them. I don't see 99% of the people falling in this bracket, including me, that eat extra calories.
Look at most of us. Yeah. You can name out of, say, about 10 friends in your group. I would say maybe 2 of them are actually fit at their right weight.
I don't even have 10 friends.
I'm talking about 10 friends, strangers, Milawat acquaintances.
Throw a stone.
We met Ashton today. Ashton is my friend now, so I'm counting Ashton also.
Yeah. Oh shit,
he's number 10 now. I've reached. So if you look, there very seldomly do you see like a group of where the bulk of the people are fit. Whereas when I was in Europe, when I was living in Europe, I lived in Italy, and you look at the people there. Out of my 10 friends there, 9 were fit. I was the unfit 10th one. Even though I may have been thin, I was the unfit 10th one. And these guys smoked, they drank, they ate pizza and pasta and bread, but it was quantity. That quantity of pizza, that one plate was it. No binging. I think it's night binging is what we make the mistake of. There, luckily I got into the habit of eating before I went out. So that when I go out and when I'm enjoying myself, I'm not thinking of food because I'm already full. And I think that's a great lesson because in India, when you have a party, khana 3 baje lagta hai. You'll have food at 3 in the morning, after the drinks are over.
Correct.
And after and everybody. And then you eat and then you feel horrible the next day. So I think that habit of eating properly is important.
I remember this one time I was flying back from China. And this is exactly the case, right? In China, everyone is thin. The only time I saw fat people were on the flight back because they were all the Indians coming back. And it was so strange. We were there for I think about 2.5 weeks. And so mentally we had switched off from seeing fat people. Suddenly it was like, oh wow. Acha.
Yeah, it's
here. It was like that after that.
And also what happens on the flight, I see that because the alcohol is free and food is free, 2 plate lao.
Correct.
4 drink lao.
Dude. That is such a point, man.
And I'm like, and this happens on every flight. So I'm not saying Indians, Europeans, whatever. There are people who say, listen, get me 4 drinks. And I'm like, dude, you're one person. Can you just start having one? There's no concept of rationality because it's free.
In my defense, when I flew first time, I also did the same thing. But that was a long time ago. Okay. I was young. I was 21. Okay. I did it. I said I did it. But honestly, now I can't because it dehydrates me. But the point is, even when I was staying in Shanghai for a bit, and it's just portion sizes, eating at the right time. And you know what? They're not thin. They are bloody fit. They will kick my ass.
Yeah.
They are that fit. And a lot of people say, the Chinese are so thin and small. They are not. They are pretty big and strong guys in themselves. They're much fitter than our average guy.
Correct. Absolutely. Before going ahead, we'll take a quick break.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another awesome week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you aren't following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We'd like to thank our sponsors on the network this week, Siet Tires and TheWholeTruthFoods.com. So this week on Advertising is Dead, Varun was joined by Mansi Zaveri. She shares her experience of running a community for parents of young kids and teenagers and of hosting a podcast along the same lines. Gauri Devidayal was joined by Divya Thani on This Round is on Me. Divya works as a global editorial director with Condé Nast Traveler. They discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly of a travel writer's job. On Candid Kanan, Sid is in conversation with Adarsh Gaurav, who recently scored a BAFTA nomination for his role in the Netflix adaptation of The White Tiger. They talk about his role in the show, life pre and post stardom, and so much more. On Agla Station Adulthood, Ritash and Ayushi talk about the precious time and opportunities lost to the lockdown and share their post-COVID wish list. When it comes to cricket this season, we have you covered. In English, we have Edges and Sledges, which do their show live on YouTube. They look for announcements over there. And for our Hindi listeners, we have Khel Neeti, hosted by Rajiv Mishra and ex-Indian cricketer Sabah Kareem. This show is live streamed on YouTube every day at 9:15. Definitely do check these out, and let's get you back to your show.
And we are back. It's these small habits that really, really make a difference in the way that, cultures emerge. And I remember out here, we count quantity of food by kitne roti khaye.
Yes.
Right? It is not kitne vati vegetables khaye.
Yes.
That is actually a better counter for kitna roti khaya. And in fact, on one of the podcasts, we spoke about always eat the expensive food first. You notice that the large quantities are all the cheap stuff. Yeah. Roti, rice. Those are the things that are your calorie dense things that are in any case going to make you nice and tubby. But all the stuff that's expensive, the meats, the vegetables, those are what you should fill up on first, then worry about the rest of it.
Absolutely, yes.
And when we put up stuff on our plate, it's always kitna roti, kitna rice first, and then followed by everything else.
Yeah, it's always, if you go for a wedding or you go to a place where somebody's serving you food, the guy will come and put down, the papad. He'll put the pickle. He'll put the rotis, put three rotis. He'll put one bucket of a big portion of rice. Then the dal will come. Then this much of bhaji will come. And then this much of chicken will come.
Yes. See, to my defense, this age-old thing of kitne roti khaye comes down to the fact, way back, say about 100 years back, when our great-grandfathers or great-great-grandfathers, were farmers, they needed calories to work on the field. And kitne roti khaye also doesn't say that what's the size of a roti. There are sometimes the roti is this small, sometimes the roti is this big. So it always came down to calories that went out. So it's calories in versus calories out. Now, the reason why people talk about diet is because their physical levels have changed. Now, people who have office jobs don't really burn calories. They sit on a desk, for 10 hours and the max they're doing is this, so they're burning maybe, 60 calories a day or something of that sort. But when you're out there on the field, actually plowing, controlling the, the bulls and all that, you're probably burning 600 calories per hour. So on those guys, even 10 rotis didn't seem like what it was. But so maybe it's that age-old method of kitne roti khaye, is still there. Now, when we have our next generation coming in, we'll not say kitne roti khaye. We'll say ki kitna protein khaya. Kitna pani piya.
Kitna protein powder khaya.
Yeah.
Kitna protein powder. Kitna whey protein liya.
Kitna protein powder.
So I do believe it's just mental conditioning of the great-grandparents coming to the parents, coming to all of that. But I think the future generation are going to learn very differently. And I'm so happy to see eating habits and drinking habits change drastically over the last 10 years. I think the habits are changing. I think India is now understanding the value of protein in diet, fat in diet versus carbs in diet. And I think it will take another 15 years, but I think we are on the path.
I think there are two parts to it though. I think say urbanized India, yes, are realizing the benefits of eating healthier. But then again, there are a lot of people that just backslide. Like, I'll give you my example, man. I started eating on a daily basis. I'm a big fan of repetition. If I'm in a disciplined mindset, I want to eat one thing. And so when my maid used to come, I used to tell her, okay, chop up the vegetables, saute it and keep it. I'll make the chicken myself. I had 1.5 pieces of chicken, about 200-300 grams of chicken with 300 grams of vegetables. And that was my meal.
Yeah.
That was my meal. But the minute I went out at night to say a bar or somewhere on that one day a week where I could cheat, when we all talked about to death, I just backslid and I undid what I did all week.
But that's fine. But that's fine because honestly, you have to let go at some given point of time. You cannot be so disciplined that 365 days a year for 10 years, you're absolutely on point. I think that is inviting trouble. In fact, if I have to give an example, just look at what the Indian team looked like in the 90s versus what they look right now. It's such a drastic change of diet, workout patterns, and I feel it's so positive because, yes, we did have the Mohammad Kaifs back then, but honestly, I feel he was more of a genetic freak than someone who, really was disciplined. I feel Mohammad Kaif may have had 6 parathas and still ran, 11 rounds of Wankhede. But, but someone like Virat Kohli, who knows that, yes, he has a weight problem. He will eat well. He will drink well. He will do some things well in order to be in that shape, versus someone like a Venkatesh Prasad. So, there's a drastic difference. I think it is seeping into India. It may take another 10 years for the Janta to start following this, but I think we are on the right path.
Very true.
As long as all the listeners right now are getting this and start the change, we know our next generation is going to definitely
change. Don't do what I do.
Where do you think people should start their journey, either into combat fitness or fitness, after listening to a podcast like this? They're like, okay, fine. Now I understand. I'm going to do this. Where do I start?
Honestly, can I be brutally honest? It's actually, I'll give you my example. It's change is a light that has to switch on inside you somewhere. It's a very honest assessment of where you stand. It's, everybody lies to each other. Everybody lies to themselves. You lie to yourself about how much you eat. You lie to yourself about how hard you're working. You lie to yourself about so many things. You lie to yourself like, one more, it will not make a difference. What am I? I've got one life to live.
Yeah.
It is the day you become honest with your priorities is the day change will begin. And that's all I will tell somebody. It's because you can hear a million fitness gurus tell you the same thing over and over again. But unless you realize it for yourself, nothing's ever going to happen.
And very sadly, just to add on that, I think what Arjun said is absolutely spot on, because at least what I've seen what happens in this country is that till the doctor doesn't tell you, ki, "Arey, ye change karo, varna tum mar jaoge." Till that is not put in you, people don't change. They're like, "Arey, chalo, ek aur chole puri kha lunga, ek aur batata vada kha lunga, ek hi zindagi." But they don't realize, in fact, I have been traveling all throughout the COVID period. I've got tested almost 15, 20 times as of now. It's all been clear. And the reason being is because I have my Zincovit on time, I have my Limc on time, I have my multivitamins on time, potassium, magnesium. It's a habit that is in me. I've been doing it for the last 10 years, So hence the virus has not affected me. Honestly, sitting at home is not going to prevent anything for anybody. They will need to take care of their bodies to actually battle this thing called COVID. There's no other way to do it,
I think a strong immunity it can't hurt, having a strong immunity.
Exactly.
It doesn't hurt. If you're going to get it, look, you can be the safest person and still get it. Yeah. You can be the most careless person and not get it.
Very true.
I know there's a science to it, but I'm just saying is that if you want to protect yourself from disease, being healthy and having a strong immune system doesn't hurt anybody.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely.
My take is that the virus here is there to teach us something. Right?
Yes.
And if you're not learning something, you're being a dhakkan.
Yes.
Because you need to realize that you need to take care of your weight. People with obesity have issues with the virus. You know that you need to take care of all your nutrients. You have to get your vitamin D. Why are you not spending enough time in the sun? Why are you not taking it as a tablet later on?
Yeah.
Supplements, getting all those things in. So critical. And it's so stupid that, Krispy Kreme is giving a free donut to everybody in America. If you got vaccinated and show your vaccination card, you get a Krispy Kreme donut.
Slow
Biden.
That's a good idea.
See, since when have we become a society that rewards obvious things? Getting your vaccine is an obvious thing, and that too. Why can't it be rewarded by getting, by getting 2 avocados, getting a free? Why does it have to be rewarded with, this getting rewarded with sweet is ingrained, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You win cake. Shit, on my birthday, cut a steak. Cut chicken, cut kebabs, get me a shawarma tower.
Yeah.
I'll be happy with that.
Yeah.
I'll be making my own shawarma. Happy birthday, shawarma. I'll be happier with that. That's a damn good idea.
With a candle out there.
A candle. I want a shawarma tower. So that is, honestly, it's firstly, I think it's becoming a gimmicky business now.
Yeah.
I think it's if you tell somebody who has a sweet tooth, do this and I'll give you something, it works. It's easier to control the mass population that way.
Yes.
I think it's a control and reward scenario here. I mean, and India, like Ashton, you said now, is I don't think people are understanding. I don't think we're going to need, I don't know what it's going to take, because I'm seeing there's a lockdown. Somesh, you were out, you had to go for a meeting and you told me on Saturday that it was open. There were people hanging around.
Yeah.
Outside, just chilling on their bikes.
Yeah, see, and also Bombay is the kind of city where people are not used to stopping. They're going no matter what. We had, the unfortunate incident of the 93. There was also 2008, when the terror attacks happened. And honestly, Bombay bounced back. But it's been almost a year that people have been asked to be at home and do this. And society ke bahar mat jao, ghar ke bahar mat jao, swimming pool band hai, gym band hai. I think this is going to take a toll mentally on the people of this city. And honestly, I love this city, but it's just too fast. And the shutdown, I think, is going to backlash at some point of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is.
In fact, it's so interesting.
It is already backlashing, I think.
Just, I think 2 days ago, I started a WhatsApp group, a group on Telegram as a support system. Because I put it up on Instagram. I said, anyone who's going through something hard right now, difficult, you want to share, come, because everyone's going through so much mental trauma that they just want to speak and they want communication. They just want they're like, I don't know where to make friends anymore. I don't know who to talk to. Come, sit, chat.
Yeah.
And it's these kinds of things that are going to actually help us get out of it, because
I think it's super positive.
Yeah, mentally you have to learn about these things. Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah. It's the fact that you actually are doing something that is pretty awesome. Because a lot of people, they have this walk it off mentality. Oh, why are you depressed? You have a job. You look healthy.
Yeah.
You're fit. You have a house. You have a roof over your head. What the hell do you need to be depressed about?
Yeah.
And people are not giving it much enough importance, according to me, because I can say this with a lot of sadness that I have lost a friend to depression, and it is. He had everything going right for him. Happily married, great job, lot of money. And he just decided to take it away. So, before people, it's very important that people recognize as an issue. And I'll tell you honestly, it's, I've had guys who've come up and said, the days that I'm feeling sad or feeling upset, I go train.
Yeah.
I train fighting, because it is a channel in a different direction. It is that it gives you, that's what I keep saying, is that mental, it gives you that calm mentality. It gives you that focus that you need, because your entire problems are diverted to a different place. Yeah. And it helps you fill that space,
Well, also what happens, I seriously do believe that, buying a boxing bag and just hanging it in your house or in your building lobby will not hurt anyone. Just go out there and just swing and get the endorphins out.
Wail on it.
It's a scientific fact that endorphins, the happy hormones, do get released when you have some physical workout. And please, please, please just go out there. Even if you're climbing a building staircase 10 times, just do it. Trust me, you'll feel much better.
Yeah. The best thing I restarted doing was to lose weight slowly. Because a lot of people told me like, oh, you know what? Don't go hard running on the concrete.
Yeah.
Your knees are already buggered.
Yeah.
I just got myself a skipping rope and a mat. Tuck, 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 tuck. Started.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Best thing.
When the lockdown had happened and everything was shut, I just started climbing the staircase, and I stay on the 20th floor. I just climbed up 3 times. It was 60 floors. I was tired, and it just worked for me. It was great. It was as simple as that. It's just a staircase workout. You don't need any fancy equipment, nothing. Just your shoes, your shorts.
The staircase is one of the best things.
Absolutely. And so many variations. You can do 2 steps at a time, 3 steps. It kind of works as a lunge. Then you have the landing area. Do some push-ups out there. Run on top. I mean, so many things. You can do so many things.
When I train for my mountaineering, when doing high altitude treks and stuff like that, a large part of it is just climbing up the stairs. So what I do is I put on a 10 kg backpack and I walk up and down and I do hypoxia training. So basically, one floor I don't breathe, the next floor I breathe. Next floor, I don't breathe. Next floor, I breathe. So by the time I finish my 7 floors, I'm gassed out.
I'm going to do this today.
It's brilliant, because we're looking at getting our CO2 tolerance up. And that is the thing that actually wins us, especially, like, for example, when you're talking about grappling. It is that you can practice the breathing techniques, like whatever you learn in like basic jiu-jitsu, like the kind of breathing and stuff like that. But that's fine. But it is the tolerance of CO2 that makes such a big difference. And if you can increase that, absolutely fantastic. Like I've never had altitude sickness because of this. And
that's awesome.
Figuring out these small training things, like through the lockdown, as soon as I got back to Bombay, I ordered myself a boxing bag. It makes such a big difference. Everybody in India has one hook that is not being used by a pankha from their ceiling.
Yes, correct.
Right? There's one of those hooks that are there. Just put a boxing bag there. You get your cardio workout. There's so many videos on YouTube that you can just follow along. Whether you're punching wrong, doesn't matter.
And you don't need technique. You can just go boom, boom, boom.
No. But be careful. Make sure you wear gloves so that your wrists are protected. Otherwise, with one boom, it'll also go boom.
Yes, sir.
So correct.
But it's for me. Because in the lockdown, there was a point where I was just so irritated. So I was getting upset and pissed off, and I just started working the bag slowly. And you just feel so good because it is frustration coming out.
Beautiful.
And then you grimace, and then you grunt, and you roar, and you punch. And it's an amazing stress reliever also.
Absolutely.
Like do it. If you're not doing it for the exercise, you're not doing it to learn boxing, do it as a stress reliever. And it'll be a great cardio workout.
Absolutely. And in case you want, you just put your boss's photo out there and just go at it. It's as simple as that.
That's true.
Love it. Guys, it's been a blast. Thank you so much for coming on the Habit Coach podcast. I loved it.
Thank you so much for having us.
Follow you guys, learn more about what you guys are doing.
Chips, hit it.
Guys, you must come and watch our show. It's on every Wednesday. You get to see The Fighting Goat with me, Arjun Mystic Chipalkatti, and my partner Somesh, the superhuman Kamra. Guys, follow us on Instagram, on Twitter. My handle is Arjun_Chipalkatti on Instagram, and on Twitter it's @MysticChipal. Somesh, go.
You can follow me on Instagram, somesh.kamra, as simple as that. And on Twitter, it's somesh_kamra. Please follow us only on the IVM Podcast Network. It's called The Fighting Goat, releases every Wednesday morning, 6 a.m.
Superb. I love it. Morning, 6 a.m. Too good. Thank you, guys. So start these habits and share with us your progress using the hashtag #TheHabitCoach. If you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on social media. We are @IVM Podcasts on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, I am Ashton Doc on Twitter and Instagram. You can find lots more information on my website, awesome180.com, or check out different content on my YouTube channel called AWESOME180. That's Awesome 180.
Namaskar, dear friends. My name is Ashish Vidyarthi. Life, as you know, is a journey. And you and I, travelers, how can we celebrate this travel? I have a podcast for you, Begin the Journey. I share stories and moments from my life. Do tune in every Monday and Thursday to listen to my podcast on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you get your podcast from. Cheers.
2020 is a difficult year. A global pandemic, protests, elections, recessions, you get the picture. What we need is a space where we can have nuanced discussions about global affairs and foreign policy. That's where I come in. My name is Hamsini Hariharan, and I host the States of Anarchy podcast. Every second Tuesday, I speak to experts in the field of international relations to make a little more sense of the world. So join me on the IVM Podcast app, website, or wherever you're listening to me right now.